think that we have come to accept that protesting, and not protesting in the sense that our founding fathers meant it to be in the peaceful way that we are all free to do so and engage in, but protesting in the sense that it is okay to burn things to the ground. It is okay to inflict violence on other people. That is the kind of protesting that has become a normal part of everyday life. And it is really unfortunate that people, particularly on the other side of the political aisle, have been led to believe that this is an acceptable way to let others know your feelings on different issues. Whereas those of us on the adult side of the issues, whether it be some that are Democrat, independent, or conservative, understand that those are illegal activities and they always will be, and they are never justified. It's become apparently necessary to protest anything and everything, even if you don't understand what it is that you are exactly protesting. I'm not going to get into it now, but we have seen this surge in protests where all of these unhinged liberal leftists are showing up at Tesla dealerships, setting them on fire, which is interesting because it wasn't that long ago where the Democrats were intent on making sure that everybody within the next few years was driving a Tesla or some other kind of electric vehicle in the name of saving the environment. And now, because Elon Musk has aligned himself with Trump, helping him to expose government corruption, suddenly burning Teslas and making sure that apparently nobody has access to them is the answer to all of our problems. So, as we know, there is generally very little, if any, logic or reason behind these demonstrations. And we have just come to accept that pretty much anytime anybody on the left doesn't get their way, something is going to burn or somebody is going to be harmed and targeted, which again is interesting coming from the people that consistently insist that they are the party of love and tolerance and that they have the greatest understanding of what it means to be empathetic. So let's get into what a few specific conservative influencers have been dealing with lately, because this is beyond just public demonstrations. This is now getting to the point where it is threatening individual people, putting their families and their homes at risk. And the question, of course, is what should be the consequences for these people. So let's look at a few cases real quick. So I specifically remember a couple of years ago when Marjorie Taylor Greene reported that she had been swatted several times. And a lot of us were just completely appalled by this behavior because, as we know, this can be very, very dangerous. And things can go south very quickly if the police officers or the SWAT team aren't aware that this is a false report, if they truly think that there is a legitimate concern behind what has been behind the information that has been provided to them. So we know now, as per several reports that have emerged over the last few days and over the last couple of weeks, there has been a noticeable increase in swatting incidents targeting other conservative influencers. And this has been highlighted by events reported just within the last couple of months. And as I said, swatting is dangerous because if it is a false emergency call, it is meant to provoke a significant law enforcement response. That is the intent of doing this. And it's obviously going to target this person's location, and it can lead to traumatic confrontations and, in extreme cases, fatalities, because police are responding under the assumption that there is a legitimate threat there. So this was from Chase Geyser, who is somebody that works for InfoWars. And this is a video that he shared of a swatting incident that he was a part of.
You acknowledge. Or Chase, can you step out with your hands up?
Travis County Sheriff's Office, step out of your house now with your hands up.
Come out of the house with your hands up. Do it now. Do it slow.
Okay, come outside. Step out. Step out of the office. Step out. Come outside. Come on, come towards us. Don't walk towards him, have him come out. Come on. Come towards us. Walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Come towards us. You're doing great. Keep walking. Keep walking. Stop.
Now, this would absolutely be terrifying to be woken up in the middle of the night, being surrounded by police officers, yelled at to come out with your hands up. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if it's your home that is being considered the threat or somebody around you. And as we know, one misstep can lead to an extreme reaction. And through no fault of the police, because they are just responding based on the information that they have been given. And we want police to respond if there is a legitimate and real threat. But if they don't know that that's not what's going on, there might be a reaction by them where they don't find out until after that it wasn't necessary. This was another incident shared by Gunther Eagleman, who is a conservative commentator. This was from March 13th. He says the gloves are off. First off, my family is safe. My house was just swatted. Some ignorant F called in a fake hostage situation. Fortunately, I have good relations with law enforcement and extra patrols will be added. I don't tolerate threats and will find the culprit. This was their worst mistake. And these were photos of the situation that he shared. He said, thankful for their commitment to ensuring safety and glad they quickly understood what happened. To whoever did this, you effed around. Now it's time to find out. This was a video shared by Sean Farish, who I just learned who he was yesterday. I shared a clip of him in my video about Rosie O'Donnell running to Ireland to get away from Trump, because apparently Trump is the threat, despite the fact that all of these people on the conservative side of the aisle are being threatened with their lives just for speaking out. But okay, Rosie. But he did a great impression of Trump. So I highly recommend going and watching that video. I will link it just after this one because his impression of Donald Trump is absolutely hilarious. But he is on the conservative side. So therefore, apparently, according to leftist unhinged logic, he deserves to have himself and his family threatened by sending a SWAT team to their home in the middle of the night. So this was a video he shared on how that situation played out.
Hey guys, it's Sean, my wife Brennan, and just wanted to give you guys an update. We did just get swatted here in Tennessee. The officer said they received a phone call that somebody murdered somebody in the house and was planning a suicide by cop. So I received the call with that information. We cooperated with police.
If you just have to think about what kind of a statement that is. If somebody says that there's a murder going on in the house, this person is planning suicide by cop, this means that this person intends to come out and confront police officers and make himself known as a threat so that they do take his life. Unbelievable.
They were very nice.
They're actually very nice.
Very, very nice. They were not aware that this was going on across the country. Was that, how did you feel about that? What was going through your head when you saw officers in the backyard with guns?
I was shaking. I was terrified. I was the only one awake. He was asleep.
Yeah.
And they were just pointing their guns into the house, and I was very scared.
So this wasn't just a matter of going after Sean. This was a matter of terrorizing his whole family. He was asleep when this started, and his wife was the one who was awake at the time and just suddenly saw all of these officers pointing their guns into the home. I can't even imagine how terrifying that would be, and what kind of a sick and twisted person do you have to be to intentionally inflict that kind of fear on other people. And I know I'm going to get leftists in the comments that are like, think about all the illegal immigrants, or the undocumented immigrants that are being deported right now and how scared they feel. This is, conservatives deserve this because of the harm and the terror they're inflicting on other people. That's the logic that we're dealing with right now. So I know that that's the justification that they are going to use for this. But let's continue.
They're trying to silence folks who are not afraid to speak their mind online.
By the way, that is the definition of fascism, trying to forcibly silence opposing political parties. Just so we know.
You've seen it happen to so many other people across the country. We're going to do what we can from Tennessee to try and get to the bottom of who's responsible for it. I'd like to see the Justice Department or somebody somewhere get involved with getting to the bottom of it, because you can see it's not a joke. You're coming up to people's homes with very, very big guns that are very unsettling to a lot of people. And, one wrong move could create a disaster. And,
Sean handled it very well. He was very calm and collected.
Yeah, because we're seeing it happening all across the country. We have nothing to hide. None of this stuff happened.
We have to start issuing warnings to conservatives saying, if this happens to you, just remain calm, like don't lose your crap, because I can imagine that it would be very tempting to start to get a little bit nervous and to perhaps do something that might escalate the situation unintentionally. So and the only reason that we need this warning is because the party of love and tolerance can't handle hearing from people that they disagree with.
But the bottom line is that if the result was that the person or people who did this was that I was going to stop doing things, it's not going to happen. So we're not blinking. It sucked. It was not ideal. And then they sent pizza.
Yeah.
Domino's and Papa John's both showed up. So, then they said it was a cash order. That doesn't mean the person paid with cash. They meant it. You have to COD. So
that's another thing that they're doing. They are ordering pizza and sending it to people's homes and then making them pay for it. So yeah, that's also fun as well. The Epoch Times noted that this seemed to be a coordinated effort because there seemed to be a pattern in these incidents. However, until further investigation, it is really unclear at this point if this is just one individual or if it's group or if it's unrelated actors exploiting the tactic for whatever their reasons are, such as, of course, ideological opposition or personal grudges or maybe even swatting for hire schemes. And of course, the impact on people is going to be very, very challenging. I appreciate people like Sean and Gunther and others who have experienced this saying that we are not going to be silenced, but I have seen people online. There is a TikTok creator that I follow regularly that has a very large audience that says that she has had people show up to her home with weapons and she is considering silencing all of her accounts and putting them on private because she doesn't want to face this danger. But what I do hope is that people will continue to speak out and that they will not be silenced by this. And I do hope that there are some very severe consequences for these people. A lot of people online have talked about that this should be escalated to the charge of attempted murder because at the end of the day, I think that that is ultimately what they are hoping for, at least in my opinion. There should be very serious consequences for this. And I think that these leftists need to know that they are no longer in Biden's America, where these things are allowed, excused, and justified under whatever talking point or hashtag that they like to promote from the top down. This is Trump's America, and there are consequences. And I truly hope that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and all of these people that are now operating under the true rule of the law investigate these situations and crack down these people and basically throw the book at them. But I can't help but think about all the people that cut off their family and friends after the results of the 2024 election. And as we were trying to reason with them and say, you can't cut people off just because of who they voted for, the response from them was, it wasn't just about a vote, it was about morals. I don't understand how they can ever make the morality argument again, because this kind of behavior that we discussed in this video does not come from moral people. It does not come from a political ideology that is based in any kind of empathy or moral foundation or any real understanding of right and wrong whatsoever. This behavior comes from people who have no humanity left, who have lost their soul and are really just ready to burn and terrorize anybody the second that their political party gives them the thumbs up or gives them the go ahead. They don't need reason. They don't need logic. They don't need facts. They don't need evidence to do so. All they need is somebody to snap their fingers and say, you are a victim, and therefore these people that are victimizing you, whether it be just sharing their opinions online, need to be attacked. But I will reemphasize, these are not moral people. They are not reasonable people, and they cannot be dealt with just logic and a slap on the back of the hand. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit the like button. Again, I would love it if you would subscribe and help me to grow this channel. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.